Multitasking is debatable.
Well, good morning from Littlefoot Ranch. I'm Doug.
I'm Rebecca.
And today we're going to take a little walk here and then show you what I found in the pasture.
If you wonder why we're laughing so hard, it's because he said he can multitask but not triple task because he's not a woman. And I said multitasking is even debatable. Oh my gosh.
We got a tree coming up.
Enough with the shenanigans. So the other day, well, let me back up real quick. So I love honeysuckle, right? I love its smell, its fragrance, its beauty, its aesthetics, its health benefits, the list goes on. And when we moved in last fall, we were really hoping that we would find honeysuckle on the property. So all spring I've been looking for it. Well, with all the recent rain we had, the pastures are flooded. And when they're flooded, it's not real easy for us to go back in where the greenery part is. So the other day I was in the house and my husband came in from checking the fence lines and he was excited because he's like, babe, look. And I was like, oh my gosh, where? And he's like, all over the place.
Yep.
And so I came out and lo and behold, it was like honeysuckle heaven. It was just the beginning stages of it, but you could see it more and more coming in. So I was already planning on doing a video on it, but then I got a couple of requests to do it. So here we are. And so we thought we would take you guys through the whole thing. How I'm just gonna, well, I'm gonna have him harvest it because it's up kind of high and you know, short people problems. I'm vertically challenged. So we're gonna harvest it and then I want to show you a couple different things to do with it. So let's go.
We gotta get through the gate here. We're going through the horse's pasture.
You gotta keep them extra.
You gotta keep them safe.
Because of Dante.
Yeah, Dante likes to, for a horse, he's very intelligent and knows how to unhook the chain. So we had to put a D-ring around the gate. So
oh, it's so muddy still.
it is very muddy.
So muddy.
So the reason I was in the pasture, I was checking the fence lines and I just kept on getting a smell. I was like, man, I know this smell. It's very potent. And lo and behold, it was honeysuckle.
Yep, turn them around.
So I'm gonna flip you and look at all that. And we got it everywhere.
Yeah, this is just one touch. It's all throughout the whole.
Yep. So yeah, we're gonna harvest some.
We're gonna take a decent amount of it because there's just so much of it. And he's just kind of chopping it. I'll do the maintenance of it when we get it in the house.
Partner.
What, babe?
Oh, there's a partner.
The cardinal?
Yeah. So I got 5
Oh,
birds.
he's really pretty. I'll see if I can get him for them. Maybe. He was there just a second ago. I don't know if you guys can see him way up there in the tree. I have no idea if I'm getting this. I can't see anything. He says, oh, there's Mom and Dad. Hi, baby. What's those mean old flies? You want to say hi? And we're still here harvesting now because I know we got interrupted by Dante. Okay, enough with the horse distractions. I guess we should get back to work to harvesting. Okay, so that looks to be a decent amount for now. If we need more, we can always come back out and grab more. But so now, time to go get this in the house and cleaned up, get it dehydrated. Reba says you can't leave without saying goodbye to me. How dare you? She's probably like, I eat on that all day, Dad. Actually, I don't know if you do or not, huh? Are you being sassy? Geez, you're full of attitude this morning, Reba. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in the house and get it cleaned up and get it in the dehydrator. Horses. Hey guys, well, it's actually, yes, I am back in the house, but it's actually been several days since the beginning of the video. I came back in and I set the flowers down and I washed them and everything, and I started putting them in the dehydrator, and then I realized I had way too many to fill the dehydrator, so I was just gonna do it. My oven has a dehydrator setting, and so I was like, you know what, I'll just do it in the oven, no big deal, it'll be fine. Well, it was fine until it wasn't, because later that night when I went to make dinner to preheat the oven, you guys can guess where I'm going. Yes, I totally ruined the flowers. You don't want to cook your herbs. Don't do that. Don't pull a Rebecca. So anyway, this morning, myself and my two children, my two older boys, went and we foraged for some more, but it's been so long now, a lot of it's gone. So I didn't get a whole lot because I wanted to leave a lot behind for the pollinators. So lesson learned, don't pull a Rebecca. Just don't be forgetful and distracted if you're going to use the oven, because it doesn't work that way. So anyway, I have the herbs washed up. I have the water on the stove, you guys can see. And so now we're just going to get on with making some honeysuckle tea. Okay guys, I have mostly flowers in this bowl, and I have leaves in this bowl. Now you're probably wondering why I have them separated. Well, the whole thing, both leaves and honeysuckle, are edible for tea, and they all have medicinal properties. Leaves can actually be a little bit stronger in the medicinal properties. That being said, they're not as strong in the flavor and the aroma of honeysuckle. So I like to keep these separate and kind of add them in sparingly to other teas and stuff like that, so they don't kind of dilute the really delightful flavor of honeysuckle. And you might be even wondering, like, why honeysuckle tea? Like, what is so good about it besides the flavor? Well, it's actually been known for a wide world of things. It's mostly known for its power and its abilities to help with digestive issues. So it's really, really good to help with digestion. It's a laxative, so it can be really good for that. So it can help like cleanse everything and flush everything. It can help with like skin issues, with like boils and cold sores and other ailments. So it's really a wonderful thing to have. Plus it just smells divine and it's gorgeous. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. And it helps with inflammation and swelling too. There's a lot of things it can help to, you know, I feel like that's a really common theme in the herb family, is that they all help with inflammation and swelling and cancer fighting and just all of the things. So today we're gonna be making honeysuckle tea. Now, if I wouldn't have been a dum-dum and turned the oven on, I was saying before, I wish I wouldn't have been a dum-dum and just ruin the whole batch of the other stuff, because I had a whole list of other things I wanted to make. But there's always next time. But you can dehydrate these, which I will. You can make the tea with the fresh leaves or dry, but I'm going to dry these and put them in sparingly and other things as well. You can even make like honeysuckle jelly, infused oils, all kinds of other really awesome things with the honeysuckle. And you can also add other herbs with it. So we're going to be making a honeysuckle lavender iced tea, and it is going to be to die for. So let's get this party started. Also, real quick, honeysuckle lavender lemonade is also really, really good. So just keep that in mind as we're about to go through the steps. You'll add the same exact steps as you would normally, but you make a lavender simple syrup. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to show you how to make the lavender simple syrup. But basically, you just make the honeysuckle flowers like you would, and then squeeze a bunch of lemons to your preference, and then a homemade lavender simple syrup, which is basically just sugar, water, and lavenders, and you infuse it all together. And I promise you, you will love it. It is the most refreshing summertime drink ever. It is so good. But today we're just gonna make the tea, so I suppose I should get on with it. Okay guys, so all you do to make the tea is you grab your flowers. They can be fresh or dry like I mentioned before. This is about 2 cups worth. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put them in my really big mason jar. Like so. And then I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of the dried organic lavender in with it. Okay guys, so now a note about hot water. I don't ever let it come to a whistle. If I do let it come to a whistle, I wait a solid 10 to 15 minutes of letting it cool before I pour it over my tea or my herbs. You don't ever want to cook your herbs. And with boiling water or herbs, it just kind of cooks them. So always just make sure it's good and hot. Don't make sure it's not, you know, too hot. And we're gonna make a concentrated dose in this cup, so because we're gonna be adding it to the big 1 gallon pitcher. So you guys can see what it looks like. The water is nice and hot, but not boiling. And we're just gonna let this steep for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. And while the tea is steeping, I'm gonna get, this is just some filtered water from the sink. I'm gonna go ahead and get some filtered water into our pitcher and get that ready. So I have the filtered water ready for when our tea is cool. And I think I mentioned before how I don't think I mentioned before how I prepared them. All I did was give them a super quick light rinse, the leaves and the flowers, a really light rinse. With as much as it rains here, they were fairly pretty clean. So I didn't have to do a whole lot of that. But like obviously if they're not from a safe place that you guys know of, like if you're not foraging on your own property or what have you, always make sure you wash them really well. And I would always stay away from like real close to like big open fields that you know where they spray heavy with herbicides or close to roads. Okay guys, so real quick what I am going to do is I have a third a cup of sugar. I'm going to put it in the measuring cup. I like to, kind of like you saw in the June video, I like to make sure things fully dissolved and incorporated. So I am going to pour some of the warm hot tea. I'm going to strain it. I don't think you guys can see. Let me fix the camera. Please hold. I feel like that's better. So I put the third a cup of sugar in here. And now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to strain some of the hot water so it kind of melts or strain the tea from the measuring cup. So I can get the sugar fully incorporated. Put that in my extra bowl right there. I'm just going to give this a quick stir. Get it all melted and dissolved. Before you pour it into there. And now I'm just adding the rest of the tea into the big pitcher. And just a quick note, you guys don't ever want to put really hot water into a jar. This is cooled down, like it's not boiling point, or it wasn't at boiling point or anything like that. And so this is nice and cool to touch. So now I'm going to put a cloth over this and go stick it on the counter and get a glass of ice. Okay guys, moment of truth. Cheers. It is so, it's like that crisp spring air, right? I can't even explain it. It's just, it tastes like sunshine and spring mixed. Oh, it's so good. Yes, y'all, please, please, please make this. And then when you do, let me know how you like it. I chugged it. It was so good, so good. I had my boys try some too, and they loved it. It was so good. Normally, when it's just me drinking it, I don't even put sugar in it, but I actually just prefer the herbal iced teas with no sugar in it. But I figured since I was making a big gallon of it for everybody, for the family, my husband and boys, they like a little bit more sweetness than I do. So I put a little bit of sugar in it. A third cup of sugar for a gallon, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. So I'm gonna get off here and fill this up. So good, I had to go get a big refill. I can't get over how good it is. It's been so long since I've had some. So, anyway, it's so good. That's gonna wrap up today's video. It didn't go quite according to plan. I was wanting to make a whole bunch of other things with you guys, but maybe, you know what, maybe I'll order some dried honeysuckle and maybe still make them. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to make a video on it. I plan on maybe ordering some anyway to make the things I wanted to make for myself. So if you guys would like me to film it and videotape it, post in the comments below. But until next time, guys, take care and have a beautiful